This more than 100-year-old guitar was never meant to have steel strings, but it did. And so it has a lot of cracks, poor intonation, and inadequate bracing. And today, we're gonna change all of that. Burns, what are they? And should you wash them? I love Washburn guitars. More specifically, I love Lion and Healy guitars. They were the biggest manufacturer in
Chicago. Excellent.
Maybe the United States in their heyday, which was, say, mid-1800s to, well, I think they folded right before the Great Depression. This is a client guitar. It is a style 115. The 15 stands for the level of appointments, meaning the fanciness, which in this case is just handmade wooden purfling and a rosette. It is a Brazilian rosewood body, and a client brought this in today to have it worked on. Strings are catching on the nut. There is no intonation. This was likely made for nylon strings. It had some repairs and they were badly done. They were filled with super glue, and then that super glue was scraped, and you can see all the chatter from the scraping. There is some really disgusting stuff going on with the neck. Filthy, filthy stuff. Really gross. We're gonna clean that up. We're gonna clean up the frets. We're gonna clean up the fretboard. We're gonna tidy up the nut. And there is, hear that vibrating? There is a pickup in here. It was sort of poorly installed and the client wants it gone. We may or may not keep the barrel jack. TBD. This is a blunted end. They're not sharp at all, and I've never had this happen before. I was feeling a bit guilty about those breaking at first, but then just pushing them back through the top and having them break makes me know these were very brittle pins, and we'll replace those with ebony. Really a bizarrely light colored fretboard. A majority of my Washburn made guitars have ebony. Here are 3 now. I've also come to discover that this is one of the models where there's just a ladder brace here and one transverse brace here and no other bracing, meaning this was 100% made for nylon strings. And even though a lot of these were made for nylon and they sound amazing, steel strings can really bring out this shimmer and shine, genies divine, of the Brazilian rosewood body. You got the warmth of a 100-plus-year-old guitar, plus the rigidity and treble of a Brazilian rosewood body, and you end up with some really excellent dynamics. The use of steel strings is almost certainly responsible for the cracks. I mean, dryness could have played a part, especially near the seam, but you can see there's a bit of a belly. Well, you can't really see, but there is some bellying. Super glue leached in every, oh, I lied. There's one tiny cleat. There's the pickup. Oh my God. The bridge plate is absolutely botched. There's the potentiometer. Can anyone identify this pickup based on that? I'm gonna see if I can get it out without destroying it.
That's what I said.
Feels almost as though they're inset into the bridge plate. Let's take another look. All right, with the pickup removed, we can see the full extent of what we're going to have to do in here. Obviously, a lot of cleating. You're going to add a brace. And first things first, we need to clear up all the extra glue and flatten the bridge plate. Maybe do some more filling on the bridge plate. These are our tools. So, bracing. We've got this one brace here. I'm thinking we add one here and one back here. Now, generally speaking, a flat top isn't flat. This one is particularly flat in front of the bridge, but behind the bridge, there's the bellying I was mentioning before. I mean, generally speaking, there is a radius built into braces so that a flat top isn't completely flat. And so we're gonna split the difference. We're not gonna go for quite this much radius. See, this is a more typical sort of radius for the top. So we're gonna bring back the bellying here a little bit, hopefully. It is quite stiff. TBD. Let's change pace for a sec and clean up this neck. Look how gross it is. It's kind of crazy.
That's what I call putting the wash in Washburn.
Before I even think about gluing anything on the inside, I'm going to clean all of the dust off of the surfaces that may be glued, because glue doesn't stick to dust. The fretboard, though clean now, is looking very pallid, very washed out. And yeah, it actually looks more like mahogany than rosewood, but that wouldn't make any sense, would it? Especially in how it reacted to the water and got paler. But we will oil this, and that should bring it back to some sort of standard. Hey Levon, why are you working in your living room? Because I don't feel like cleaning. I did notice while I was cleaning this up, I flipped it over, I saw the back center strip has the original coloration, whereas the purfling around the sound hole and the rim of the top has been bleached to its original wood color. And I suppose the same goes for mine. Here's one, here's another. Now you can see there's only about 1.5 millimeters of projection over the bridge, but we are not doing a neck reset on this guy. Got extremely lucky and found this piece of ebony that just needs to be thinned a little bit so we can plug the slot in the bridge. Okay, this is funny. I was thinking I did a bad job because this is so visible, but that's actually just natural grain, and the patch I did was up here. It's fairly irrelevant. I'd say like 95% of that patch is going to be covered by the new routing, but it's nice that it looks good. If you're wondering about the ends here, I just shored them up with some extra dust and super glue to make sure they get completely filled. Instead of 2 braces, I'm just going to do 1 brace, leaving the bass side wide open and tightening up the treble side a little bit, because I'm also adding a new bridge plate cap, and that will add rigidity in this area, so I don't think we need to add an additional brace. Because I'm going in through the sound hole, it could take me a little longer to get everything lined up and clamped in place, and so I'm going to use tight bond instead of hot hide. I'm gonna butt a couple of bar magnets up against the current bridge plate to use to register the new one. I use some double-sided tape to stick a clamping caul to the middle, and then I will hit the sides with 2 other clamps after it's in place. Now, how about a brace? This is my thought, something along these lines. We've got this one here and that one there. We've got a nice broad open space for bass and a nice tight treble here. Only time will tell. Now with these magnets, I can see that the lining goes essentially to the same line as the purfling, which doesn't seem structurally like the best idea, but oh well. So we can use that as a reference point to cut the length. This is a 25-foot radius, and I'd like to bring down the center more. This actually just brings up either side of the center and adds radius, but I'd like to flatten it a bit, so I think I need to go for something more like a 50-foot. Now 50 is so subtle, I'm actually just going to eyeball it, just adding the tiniest bit of radius. I want to bring down the belly behind the bridge. Okay, last night I had a couple of beers, and these were not normal beers. Super tall, hazy double IPA. Emboldened by alcohol and a desire to have glue dry by morning, I glued in the brace. And now we're gonna see if it worked out. Looks okay from the outside. Okay, it looks mostly successful. There is a tiny bit of gap there in the middle. I'm gonna see if I can shore up that center seam, and if so, I'll add some glue and reclamp it exactly on that spot. That's looking like it will work. So we're gonna add some glue in the middle there and reclamp. Okay, the next step is routing for the new saddle. And so we need to get perfect intonation. And to do that, I'm simply going to reference my other guitars of the exact same size, age, and scale length and measure exactly where I put the saddle on those. The 12th fret is at 309 millimeters or 12 1/8 inch. I have 313 as the center of the slot on the bass side here, so a 4 millimeter compensation. And on the treble side, we've got it set at 310.5. Interesting. Let's double check on the intonation. As you can see, I ran out of space on the bass side here, and so this isn't quite intonated. It's a little on the sharp side. It would like to go back a little bit more. So we'll see if we have room on the other bridge. Excellent news. This bridge has much more clearance area for a saddle, so we're probably going to go for 6 millimeters. And so that places our saddle approximately there. Saddle slotting jig, saddle slotting jig. And I'm going to go for a 7 centimeter length. So these are my stoppers for my router. Now the bridge this guitar came in with had a through slot, which is much easier to do cleanly. But looking back at most of the Washburns I've seen, they all have a captured saddle. So we're gonna go with that. It's harder, but it's classier and it maintains more bridge integrity. All right, I'm gonna be taking a couple of viewers' pieces of advice and I'm gonna come in to the center of the slot rather than at a side. And I'm going to tilt in rather than plunge in. All of this to hopefully eliminate any chance of wobble. Okay, first pass looks pretty decent. We're only about a millimeter deep so far. And to make sure I don't plunge too far for the next pass, I set it up here, doing about a millimeter at a time. Lock that in place. And before I put it in, I'm gonna do the 1 millimeter plunge. That's what she said. And never move your router until it's done spinning. That's a lesson I've learned the hard way. Looks good. I think we're about 3 millimeters in. And not really any drift to the bit. So obviously going to employ that method. Thank you very much to the person who commented. Advice taken, advice worked. I am 100% self-taught, and that means I make a lot of mistakes. I like showing my mistakes on the channel so that you guys can learn from them at the same time as I do. And happy to get good advice and take it. I must have used that bit on metal previously because it is not going through this wood. When I'm drilling for these bridge pinholes, I'm just using the weight of the drill. I'm not pushing down at all. Minimize any chip out on the bottom side. And the chip out that did occur, I'll just sand off real quick. Decisions. Well, a lot more work to do there and a bunch of work to do on my house. However, it's really nice out, so I'm gonna take Buggy for a walk. Wanna go for a walk? I may be jinxing myself, but nothing's gone too horribly wrong with this project so far. I'm looking forward to it ending successfully without any major hangups. Knock on wood. All right, my phone's almost dead, so I'm gonna spend some time cleaning while it charges. The weekend was busy, but we're back. Now we can put strings on this thing. I think I'll probably still have to bring the saddle down a bit, but I'm gonna go with extra lights. This is not them. I'm gonna use the first 4 strings of this and then find 2 others to make up the set. When you're putting strings on a 100 to 130-year-old guitar, especially one that wasn't built for steel strings, I recommend going with extra light strings, like a 10 to 47 set. And a hilarious thing happened. I spent the weekend not working, so I completely lost track of where I was, and I forgot I still need to make and install cleats for this guitar, which I will do and show as B-roll as I demo the new sound. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.